Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll continue the introduction where we left. Okay, so we were talking about just before the living entity and the Supreme Lord, you know, how like uh, how we are similar in that sense. We are both are conscious entities, and we are different in the sense that the Lord is unlimited and we are very, very small, right? So, and then we discussed about the consciousness. The consciousness is the awareness that who we are, and then we also saw how the individual soul, its identity is to be part and parcel of the Lord, or to be servant of the Lord, and to be enjoyed by the Lord, right? So that's the individual soul's this one, and we have to willingly cooperate with the Lord. So we saw many different this ones in that sense. And the living entities have various tendencies because these are all there in the Lord. Okay, now let's continue the this one introduction further. We shall find, therefore, in this Bhagavad Gita that the complete whole is comprised of the supreme controller, the controlled living entities, the cosmic manifestation, eternal time, and karma or activities. So the same thing, like it's like Prabhupada is just giving a summary of what we had discussed. So it is consisting of supreme controller, that is Ishvara. Ishvara means all the time. The meaning of the word Ishvara is controller, and the supreme Ishvara or supreme controller, that is Ishvara, and then the living entities Jiva, cosmic manifestation Prakriti, eternal time, that is Kala, and then Karma. So these are and all these are explained in this text, in the Bhagavad Gita. All of these taken completely from the complete whole, and the complete whole is called the Supreme Absolute Truth. So the complete whole and the complete absolute truth are the complete personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. All manifestations are due to his different energies. He is the complete whole. So why such a cryptic language is used, complete whole, so many times? Because it is, Prabhupada is just putting the translation or drawing this one from the Ishopanishad, which says Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. So that's the thing that Prabhupada is actually explaining here. That's why it is coming so many times. So all this material nature, whatever we are seeing, all the creation, it all has come from the complete whole, that is the Supreme Lord. And the Lord, it's not that this is Lord is an entity and all his creation are a different entity. No, the Lord and his energies, the creation, all the creations put together are his different energies, and the energies are non-separable from the Lord. So we had many times discussed this example of fire and heat and light. So heat and light is energy of fire. So, but then you cannot separate heat and light from the fire. So that's always there with this one. So in the same way, like Krishna and the whole creation is it's not two different entities. So Krishna and the energies are non-different. Why? Because this creation is nothing but his energies. Okay. It is also explained in the Gita that the impersonal Brahman is also subordinate to the complete supreme person. Brahmanohi pratishtaham. So the Brahman or the impersonal Brahman means the Brahma Jyoti, which the jnanis and yogis want to jnanis want to go and merge in the existence of Brahman. So here we see that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions Brahmanohi Pratishta Aham, means the Brahman is actually situated in me. No, it is like Lord is the basis of Brahman also. So Brahman is more explicitly explained in the Brahma Sutra to be like the rays of the sunshine. The impersonal Brahman is the shining rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman is incomplete realization of the absolute whole, and so also it is the conception of Paramatma. So that is why Prabhupada is bringing about now Brahman and Paramatma here. So there is one nice sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam is there, which says, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam ajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sapyate. So the learned people, they point out to the supreme absolute truth and they explain it as Brahman. Some people explain it as Paramatma and some people explain it as Bhagavan. So in this way, like Bhagavan is the complete realization of the Lord. Brahman and Paramatma are partial realization of the Lord. So Brahman means like we see that the Lord that exists everywhere, or all the whole creation of the material nature, spiritual nature, everything is situated on this Brahma Jyoti, and that Brahma Jyoti is the bodily effulgence of the Lord. So now that Lord's feature of that existing everywhere, so that's Brahman. This one just having the cognizance of the existential potency of the Lord. So that is Brahman realization. And then the next aspect is existential, then like controlling potency of the Lord. So Lord not just exists everywhere, he controls and manages everything. So that is Paramatma realization. And then the third step is that Lord is not just present everywhere. He is not just controller and maintainer of everything. He is also a very nice, lovable person. He also has some likes and dislikes. So, and knowing that, serving him according to his likes and dislikes, that is like Bhagavan realization or performance of devotional service, bhakti, right? So in this way, like there are different levels are there. So Brahman and Paramatma are incomplete understanding of the Lord. So that's what is mentioned here. Okay. In the 15th chapter, it shall be seen that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottama, is both impersonal Brahman and the partial realization of Paramatma. So 15th chapter, all of us are standing now in this Purushottam month. So in this particular chapter, Prabhupada is mentioning here that how Krishna is mentioned as both Brahman and Paramatma himself. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Satchidananda Vigraha. The Brahma Samhita begins in this way. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Govinda, Krishna, is the cause of all causes. He is the primal cause and he is the very form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. So this is like everything is floating in the Brahma Jyoti, and if Krishna is the source of Brahma Jyoti, then it's like he's the Sarva Karana Karanam, so he's the beginning, the first primal cause of everything that is there. An impersonal Brahman realization is the realization of his Sat, eternity feature. So the Brahman realization means like existential potency or existential principle. That is Sat potency. And then Paramatma realization means Sat and Chit. So it is not Lord is not just existing everywhere, and he is also knowledgeable. He is also knowing everything. That's Paramatma. That is one of the things that always people say that Paramatma knows everything. He has he's listening. He's watching and things like that. So in that way we can see that Chit potency means to have the knowledge of everything. So that is Paramatma realization. But realization of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the realization of all transcendental features, Sat, Chit and Ananda, eternity, knowledge and bliss, in complete vigraha, in complete form. Okay. People with less intelligence consider the supreme truth to be impersonal, but he is a transcendental person. And this is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. As well as we are all individual living beings and have our individuality, the supreme absolute truth also in the ultimate issue a person. And realization of personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features in his complete form. So if we are not able to, in many other times, like we'll see, especially in India, anybody who is little spiritual, no, if you ask like who's God, they'll say like it's a very difficult question to answer, and they'll give so many different answers and things like that. It is very difficult to answer that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. So people give so many different things. Oh, that is like Nirakar, and no, it's like explicable, and it's very difficult to comprehend and things like that. So many different things they tell, but it is quite simple that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. So this understanding is not there for everyone. This understanding is like people generally don't have this kind of understanding. So now we see that this understanding the personal form of the Lord in the form of Krishna. So it is complete understanding of everything, right? So like it is once we understand the Supreme Lord's form, we understand Paramatma, we understand Brahman. So everything is included in this one. And okay, where we left is okay. The complete whole is not formless. If he is formless, or if he is less than any other thing, then he cannot be the complete whole. So because if everything is created by the Lord, so we have a form and Lord doesn't have a form. So then Lord is lesser than us, right? So the complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience. Otherwise, it cannot be complete. There's an amazing definition that is given. So let me read it again. The complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience. Otherwise, it cannot be complete, right? So in one sense, we see that we have certain qualities because Lord has those qualities. So that's why we have them. No, that is how it is derived. So now, if I have something and Lord doesn't have, so that's not possible. So if I have a form, Lord also has form, right? The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which the material universe is temporary. Um, sorry. This phenomenal world or material world is in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material world is a temporary manifestation, according to the Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for maintenance and subsistence of this universe. So the 24 elements, what are the 24 elements? So we have the 5 Panchabhutas: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then we have 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So that is eyes, nose, the tongue, ears, and skin. These 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. So 5 working senses is like the mouth. It helps in speaking. Mouth, hands, legs, stomach, anus, and genital. So these are all working senses. These perform some like some task to be performed. So mouth, I can actually speak. So that's a task performed. Hands can perform some task. Legs can perform some task. Stomach can perform some task. So these are all called the working senses. So there are 5 working senses total: Panchabhuta, then 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and 5 working senses. It has become 15. And then another 5 is called Tanmatra, or the sense objects. So all the knowledge acquiring senses, for example, eyes, for eyes, vision is a Tanmatra. It is an object to be perceived. For ears, sound is Tanmatra. And for tongue, taste is Tanmatra. For nose, its smell is Tanmatra. And for skin, touch, the feel of touch is Tanmatra. So like this, 5 kinds of objects of the senses are there. So put together, it becomes 20. And after that, mind, intelligence, false ego, 23. And then the Mahat Tattva, the sum total of all material energy. So that's called 24. So this is how the 24 elements are brought about. And here, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, like we are placed in this phenomenal world or material world, it has, this material world is composed of this 24 elements, and they are adjusted so nicely, that it takes care of the entire universe. We don't need anything from, like there is some shortfall is there in the universe and we have to import something from the neighboring universe. We have never heard of such a thing. No, whatever is needed, everything is there within this universe. There is facility for heat, facility for light, facility for rain, facility for everything. Like whatever is produced, everything. That's why it is called complete whole. It doesn't require anything from outside. So that's why it is called complete whole. So it is mentioned that Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. So that sloka, it says, Lord is complete, and so many complete units come out of him, and still he remains complete. So what are these complete units that are coming out of him? So these universes, that are coming out of him, and all of them are self-sufficient. None of them need any external support from anywhere else, right? So in this way, we can see that it is like it is complete. There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. So that means, like in one time, Prabhupada was there in some field, and there one devotee was telling, like, no, this is a useless plant, and Prabhupada told, like, you tell that, no, you don't know what is the use of this plant. If God's creation, every single thing has a use, has a purpose. No, it is not just a haphazard creation. So everything has its purpose. And in this way, like, Prabhupada is writing here, there is nothing extraneous, there is nothing extra, and there is nothing, and there is, nor is there anything needed. No, there is no shortfall and there is no extra. Everything, whatever is there, is perfectly meted out and perfectly there, right? So this manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole, and when its time is complete, the temporary manifestation will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. So, like, we know that Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Now, after Kali Yuga, what happens? Like, destruction happens. So, like, that's a small destruction, and then the next level is Manmantra level. We have in the time session of Gita course we studied, like different levels of annihilations. That happens. So there are multiple levels of annihilation happens, but effectively the whole material creation is timed, and after the time is elapsed, the whole material creation is annihilated and completely destroyed. And this is done by the complete facility, and complete arrangement of this Supreme Lord. And it is mentioned, there is nice, the next statement is also quite poetic and nice. There is complete facility for the small complete units. We have small complete units, and there is complete facilities there for all of us. There is complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, to realize the Supreme Lord. And all sort of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So this is exactly the Ishopanishad sloka. This is what it actually points to. So here it's mentioned that we feel something is incomplete. We feel there is drought. We feel there is there is some pandemic over here and different problems that are there. So why this incompleteness? It's because we are not able to understand the Lord completely. If we could understand the Lord completely, then we don't need to have all this problems and things like that. If we understood, like, how to treat animals, not like the Chinese people are like frying them and eating them. So it is like, if we keep doing like that, so then automatically the nature will become imbalanced and some reactions will come. And this like, whether that may be the case or something else may be the case, but whatever it is, we have created imbalance by not cooperating with the plan of the Supreme Lord. So that's why this one is there. So I'll again read this thing. This statement is quite poetic and very, very powerful. Prabhupada writes, actually, there is complete facility for the complete small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete. And all sort of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. Right? So if we don't know Bhagavad Gita, if we don't know Srimad Bhagavatam, and if we act just based on our own whims, so we don't know, like, what's the purpose of, why this creation is made. So Lord has a purpose behind, and Lord has created everything. And we just go about using everything without understanding why the Lord has created. What is the purpose for which it is created in the first place? And we just simply go and exploit. No, it will all go imbalance only. No, where it will go proper. So that's the basic problem. In Kali Yuga, no, it's like everyone is trying their hand on the nature, and trying to exploit the nature as they like. And everyone thinks that, no, like the previous person has not exploited the nature properly. I will come up with some better idea, and I'll exploit the nature so nicely that I'll manipulate the nature. So that's very, very, difficult actually. This is the lowest form of existence. In fact, we had discussed this in some sessions. The very, very lowest form of existence is that I can manage matter. No, that's the very lowest, grossest form of existence. The next level of existence is, they understand that nature is very, very powerful. I cannot meddle with nature. No, that is the next level of understanding. So they are generally called as Shaktas, or the worshippers of the Shakti of the Lord. No, Durga Devi. No, the worshippers of Durga Devi. So they understand that, no, this material nature is not. I cannot control this material nature. It's very powerful. So, like, no, I must, respect and worship the material nature. And this material nature can give me so many wonderful things. So they are called Shaktas, or they are worshippers of the energy of the Lord. So they are worshippers of Durga Devi. And then the next level of worship, we come to the highest level of worship. Then we come to the point of worshipping the Supreme Lord Himself, where, like, we are not interested in the energy of the Lord, we are not interested in the creation of the Lord, we are interested in worshipping the Lord directly, right? So once we worship the Lord directly, everything is covered. So it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that the watering the root example itself, it mentions yatha taror mula nishechanena tripyanti yatskanda bhujopashaka pranopaharat yatendriyenam tataiva sarvarhanam achyudechya. So just like watering the root of a tree nourishes the tree, so feeding the stomach with food nourishes the body, in the same way tataiva sarvarhanam achyutechya. So if I worship the Achyuta, the Supreme Lord, so then Sarva Arhanam, all kinds of worship is satisfied. So it includes the worship of Durga Devi, it includes worship of all demigods. Everything is put together, one form of worship. There is another shloka is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, which says Deva Rishi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitrinam Nayam Kinkara Narini Charajan Sarvatmano Yas Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihirta Kartum. So it says that Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, Apta, Pitra, so many people we have Rina, like debt towards. So for Devatas, like they are giving the sun, sunlight, rains, and so many different things the Devatas are giving. So we are indebted to them. We have to pay back something to them. Devas and Rishis, they have given the knowledge, in the form of scriptures. And Bhuta, all the other living entities, the trees are giving oxygen for us, right? So in this way, like if we see every single living entity, they have something to contribute towards us, and that's the ecosystem. Like we study in biology, like ecosystem, where every single living entity actually contributes to other living entities to exist. So Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, like Bhuta, Apta means like the friends and relatives. So we get some like help from them. Bhuta, Apta, Nrinam, Pitrinam. So like, so many, all these various living entities. So we get different benefits from all of them, and we are rini. We have a debt towards them. And how to, finish the debt one by one, to everyone. So it is mentioned, Gato Mukundam Parihirtha Kartum. You just surrender to Supreme Lord Mukunda, all the debts are taken care in one shot. So that's how this thing is. So in this way, like the highest form of worship is to worship the Supreme Lord, who is the Sarva Karana Karanam, and lowest form of, I would not say worship, lowest form of existence is that, the material nature is there, the matter is there, just go about and exploit this whole thing. It is there, yours. All that is there is yours. And everyone can have their own ways of exploiting the material nature. So that's the lowest form of existence. Okay. So now let's get into the next paragraph. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. For example, cow dung is a stool of an animal. And according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. So, like, I suppose we are also animals, right? So we are little, what is that? No, sophisticated animals. So that's why, in the proper Vedic culture, so when we also evacuate, so we also take bath. It's like that's the proper Vedic culture. So here we see that stool of an animal is very untouchable. Like if you touch it, so then you have to take a bath. So after evacuation, it's a good culture to take a bath actually. And then here we see that. And according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. So that's also stool of an animal. But then, no, it is cow dung is considered to be purifying agent. So one might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it is Vedic injunction. And indeed, by accepting this, one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proven by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubts and mistakes. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Very nicely, Prabhupada actually establishes the position of Bhagavad Gita. So the Vedic knowledge cannot have any mistake. It is like absolute in all sense. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, and it must be absolute, right? And okay, there is a question. Please help to understand small complete. How units can be understood as complete, because many units can combine to form complete. So small complete units we are the small complete units. No, we are small complete units, and the machine that we have, and whatever the machine that is there, the living entities. So it is complete in themselves. Yeah, so we become complete when we are dependent on the Lord. So independent of the Lord, nothing is complete. So, but then, that is why it is called as a small complete units. And um, uh, see, for a functionality, like it's like, if something happens to us, we know how to take care of ourselves, and we can think, and we can plan, and we can do so many things, right? So in the proper sense, like the living entities in their full knowledge, so they are complete units. They don't need to be so much dependent on the like other entities. So only in the conditioned state, like we become so much dependent on other things. Actually, what is that? In the conditioned state, a living entity thinks that I need to have a proper job, I need to have security, I need to have this, I need to have that. So many things a person is thinking of. But then if he becomes advanced in knowledge, we have seen the acharyas, like the Goswamis of Vrindavan. So they were like, they were alone, and they didn't have any property, and they were like just sleeping under different trees and different days. But then they were complete, like they were not having anything that like this is not there, that is not there, and so they were like happy. So, and if somebody would somebody may say that this is a very poverty stricken condition, and they are in dire need and things like that. But no, they didn't feel any need of anything. They were completely satisfied within themselves. So that is why they are called as Atmarama. Atmaramascha Munaya. So like this Atmarama means one who takes pleasure within himself. He doesn't require anything separate from external thing. So actually the living entities are capable of being complete units. So the incompleteness, what we are experiencing now, I cannot live without this, live without that, and things like that. It is because of incomplete understanding of the complete. That's the main problem. So does it answer your question, Prabhu? Sarveshwar Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prajay, that's I understood.
Okay, thank you. So let's continue. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to accept perfect knowledge which comes down as it is in Bhagavad Gita by the parampara system, or parampara or disciplic succession. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession, beginning with the supreme spiritual master, the Lord himself, and handed down to a succession of spiritual masters. Uh, like here, we see one very important thing. Prabhupada is telling about research work, science and research, like why it is mentioned as it is imperfect, because it is done using our imperfect senses. What's the medium with which we are actually seeing everything? What's the medium with which we are judging everything? It's all based on our imperfect senses. So there are four deficiencies that a living entity has. So which is in Sanskrit, it is mentioned as Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, Karanapatava. So that is like tendency to become illusioned, a tendency to commit mistake, and like hmm, cheating propensity, and then this one, imperfect senses. So these are all the four defects that we have in ourselves. And with these defects, how can I bring about proper knowledge? So proper knowledge cannot come from me because I have all these imperfections. And whatever knowledge comes out of me will have all these imperfections. It cannot be free of these imperfections. That is why it is mentioned the knowledge has to be received from parampara. So what's great about parampara? There also people like having these imperfect senses. Why? What is great about this parampara? So the great about the parampara is the beginning of the parampara is Lord himself, who's beyond all the imperfections. And the glory of the parampara is that nobody wants to change anything in this. Everybody wants to give the same thing to the next generation, with realization and with practice. So that is why the parampara system is very important. So in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions, Evam parampara praptam imam raja rishyo viduhu sakalenehe mahata yogo nashta parantapa. So this knowledge is evam parampara praptam. It is only received through the parampara. And then if the parampara is destroyed, then Krishna says like, I have come here to establish, like over a period of time, this parampara got destroyed. And I have come personally to re-establish this parampara. So that's how much the Lord gives importance to the parampara. So if that is destroyed, if the chain of disciplic succession is destroyed, Lord takes personal care to come and again re-establish the whole thing. So that's the high level of importance of the system of knowledge that Krishna has put. So now it's mentioned, Arjuna, the student who took lessons from Lord Sri Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him. It's like, Arjuna says this statement, Sarvam etad dhrutam manye, yenmam vadasi Keshava. So it's like, I accept everything that you have told as it is. It's not that Arjuna is telling, okay, no, the second chapter was okay, third chapter was like, no, I cannot accept it. He's not telling in that way. So he's telling that whatever you have told Keshava, I am accepting, everything I am accepting. That's like in accepting in full, right? One is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. No, we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without deletion, and without our own whimsical uh, participation in the matter. So basically, like, we should not add or deleting anything over here. We should use it for our betterment, and we should just give it as it is for others' betterment. We should not add or delete anything in the subject matter. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources, and the first word were spoken by the Lord himself. The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurashya, meaning that they are different from words spoken by a person of the mundane world who's infected with the four defects. So the mundaner is sure to commit a mistake, is invariably illusioned, and has tendency to cheat others and limited by imperfect senses. So these Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, and Karna Bhatava. So all these ones are there. So these are all the four defects. So Lord's words are not having these four defects because they are apaurashya. So they are completely beyond all imperfections. So with these four imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all pervading knowledge. So nobody can give perfect knowledge with these four imperfections. Okay. So now Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. And Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his being subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe, and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. So in the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Parapitamaha, because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the forefather of everyone, and the Supreme Lord is addressed as Parapitamaha. So he is the great grandfather, grandfather of the grandfather, like that. So the grandfather and he is the creator of the grandfather. So no one should claim to be proprietor of anything. One should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. So this is also from Ishopanishad. Ishavashyam idam sarvam yatkincham jagatyam jagat tena taktena bunjita magrida kashyasviddanam. So no, we should not think that all that we have is my property. No, it's all somebody's property. No, not somebody's property. It's all God's property. And whatever he has set aside as a quota for us, no, we should only use that for ourselves. Right? Okay. There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. So this is also, once it is set aside for us, can we use it in any way and every way we want? No, like we cannot do that. So for example, like, if we own a house, so it is set aside for us, it is, the document is there and everything is there. So it is, we can rightfully say this is my home. But then can I do anything and everything over there? Can I run a terrorist organization there? So the government will come and catch me, right? So you cannot say that, no, this is my house, no, anything I want, I'll do. So I cannot say that. So like things can be set aside for me, but I can use things only based on the laws of, the laws given by the Lord. So I would wonder, in my childhood, I grew up in a business kind of an environment where we have to pay tax for our income. I used to think like, we are working hard and we are earning, and why we have to pay tax? So, and why there is regulation, this can be done, that cannot be done, and things like that. So it is because, it is not just because it is my business, my home. No, I can do anything and everything. The government is in control, and I cannot do anything beyond the jurisdiction of the government. Everything, we see that anytime an agreement is made, so this this agreement is made between these two parties, we agree upon these terms. If there has to be any conflicts, this comes under the jurisdiction of so and so area, and so and so court or something like that will be the point of this one judgment, or that will be the point of jurisdiction. So it comes under that jurisdiction. So we will agree upon any decision that is given by the court of this particular region or something like that. So in this way, we can see that in the material world also we do that thing. So then, in terms of spirituality, so God has created everything, and then He set aside as quota for different people, different things. And if we want to use that quota, what is our quota? Still, we have to follow the rules of God. We cannot just like that go about and use it. So somehow or other, right from the beginning, so nobody has taught us that there is some rules to use things of this world. So we have started using things as as we like, and now at least at this point in time, we are fortunate that we are getting to know there are certain rules in which, by which we can actually access the things of this world. We cannot just go about using it. So this is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for me to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsman. This decision was based on the body, because he was thinking that the body was himself, and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brother-in-laws, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord just to change this view. And at the end, Arjuna decides to fight under the direction of the Lord when he says, Karishye vachanam tava, I shall act according to your words. So that's the transformation that Arjuna is bringing about, or Krishna is bringing about in Arjuna. So initially he told no, I don't want to fight. And in the end, it is okay, my Lord, whatever you say, I am ready with that. So in this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in the Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings and not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of the nature. Right. So it's like the tiger kills another animal, so that's perfectly within his quota. No, he's just taking his quota. So and he will take, and he knows how much is quota. Like no, he will not one animal he kills, then after that he'll not go on a spree and kill so many animals. He'll not do that. If he's not hungry, he'll just pass by and he'll not do anything to anyone. He'll just simply pass by. Only if he's hungry, he'll go and hunt. Otherwise, he'll not hunt. So he'll just simply, he's actually a very lazy guy. He'll just simply sleeping all the time. Whenever he gets hungry, he'll just go around, hunt something, and again go to sleep. But then the human beings, what they do organized slaughterhouse. They do organized killing. Actually, more than the tigers and the lions, the human beings are the ones biggest, who are doing animal killing. So it is actually for the tiger and lion, so it is set aside as quota. For human being, it is not set aside as quota, but still we are exploiting, right? So this is one very nice thing for imbalance of the nature, we can say that in so many ways we can actually see, say this. So very, very long back, I read an article by an ecologist. So he was mentioning that this ecosystem in the world is very, very perfect, and it can work very perfect only if we remove the human being from the system. So all damage is done by the human beings. If only the animals were to live, the ecosystem will go perfect and everything will be in balance. No natural calamities, no disturbances, and all these things will come. No, everything will go on perfectly. So this human being, no, actually speaking, human being doesn't have any role to play in the ecosystem. No, he doesn't have anything to do in the ecosystem. This shows that human beings are meant for spiritual advancement. No, they are not meant to do anything, any contribution in this material world, right? So basically, like if they don't contribute anything to this, so the world will go on very nicely. So more they meddle around with the nature actually goes for toss. So it is very important, to understand from this, from that article. I'm still trying to find that article back. I'm not able to get it. It's a very nice article actually. Like human being doesn't have any role in the ecosystem, and the world can be green if only human being doesn't meddle around with the nature. So, and that the corollary point of that is that we don't have anything to do or anything to contribute to this material world. So our purpose of the make of the human being is for the purpose of advancing in spiritual knowledge. That's the specific design of the human body. So like with this higher design, it's like one time I had drove a car to the market area, and then the people over there, the telawalas, they were telling that, sir, like you cannot bring these kind of vehicles to the market. So here different kinds of vehicles go, and even if one small touch, your vehicle go chutney. Right? So there is this one is there. You cannot use a Mercedes for plowing the field. No. So then it will not fit over there. So only tractor can be used for plowing the field. So in the same way, we have been given by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord a very amazing vehicle, this human body. And this can be used for progressing in the spiritual life. But unfortunately, we are using this for using the Mercedes for plowing the field, and it will be miserable. Everywhere. The things will go for toss. It will get repaired, and it'll go bad. The parts will go bad, and things like that, and fumes will come. So that's what is happening in the material world. So we are not supposed to. It will spoil the field also. No. So now the same thing is happening. We are supposed to advance in spiritual life, that we are not able to do, and in the absence of that, we are trying to control the material nature, and really we are messing up the whole material nature, right? So that's the thing that is happening over here. And then we see Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, the activities of passion, and activities of ignorance. Similarly, these three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, eatables in passion, eatables in ignorance. And all this is clearly described. And if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified, and ultimately we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond the material sky, right? So that's the this one, like if we know how the modes of nature functions, then we can actually get out of the modes of nature and surrender to the Supreme Lord. That destination, okay, so before this, in one time somebody had told me that if you like a particular hotel, you like to eat in that particular hotel, just go and see the backyard of that hotel, then you will lose all the interest in that particular hotel. Right? So, or the place where they cook or clean and things like that and all. So it's like, no, it's that's the this one. If we are very much enamored by this material nature, just study the three modes of nature. Know how this material nature is dictating us and how it is controlling us. Then we will get detachment from the material nature. So that's the point. Like, no, in the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are called as primarily focused on Jnana Yoga. And if you see, it is having descriptions of the three modes of nature and how three modes of nature function and things like that. By understanding the functionality of this world, we will get detachment from this world, right? So that's the whole point. Okay, so that destination is called the spiritual, the Sanatana sky, the eternal spiritual sky. Yad gatpana nivartante taddama paramam mama. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. That is the law of the material world. Whether whether we use as an example this body or piece of a fruit or anything, no, it's all like, no, comes into existence, stays for some time, and then destroys. No, that's the nature of the material, this one. But beyond this temporary world, there is another world which is of which we have information. That world consists of another nature which is sanatana or eternal. Okay, so this is a very important discussion. So we will take it up, this discussion, in the next session. So this talks about the eternality aspect of this one. So eternality of the spiritual world, eternality of the living entity, and eternality of the Lord. So all these things, this whole meaning of this Sanatana, that comes about. So it's a very important section. So we will handle that in the next session, right? So thank you all very much for joining for this Bhagavad Gita session. And by next week, this is only on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we are doing this Bhagavad Gita. So by next week, if we can make till this point, if we can make some nice flowchart or some kind of this one, and it'll be very nice. We may not have time to go through every one of your presentations or like this one, but at least this exercise will help you understand the concepts, the basic building blocks of Bhagavad Gita very thoroughly. And once this is very solidly fixed, so then we can understand the higher philosophies and everything we can understand in a very nice way. So this is the basic, very, very basic building blocks of the Krishna conscious philosophy, right? So try to compile something, try to write on your own, and then try to make some connections, some flow charts, and kind of a thing, so that you'll understand the concepts, whatever has been presented till now, in a nice way, right? So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.